Let's look at how to write this program for the graphing calculator that will help you calculate the mean, which is called mu, and the standard deviation of a discrete random variable. So here is the formula for the mean. Literally, we take the sum of all of the x values times all of their corresponding probabilities. So in the graphing calculator, we're going to store the x values in list 1, and we're going to store the associated probabilities in list 2. So all we really need to do is take list 1 times list 2, and what we need to do then is take the sum of those. That's what the summation notation symbol represents. And we're going to take this and store this into a variable then that we can display. We're going to store it into the letter m for mu. So take a look then. To find the standard deviation of the random variable, here is the formula for standard deviation that we've used in the past. Now understand we have to manipulate this a little bit. So first of all, dividing by n minus 1 is the same as multiplying by 1 over n minus 1. So at some level, you can think about this 1 over n minus 1. In some level, you can represent that with the probabilities. And we are going to multiply then each of these deviations. But notice what the deviation is now. It's now the value of the random variable take away mu. That value of mu is what we calculated up above. So we're going to take each one of those deviations, the value of the random variable, take away the mean, or mu, square it. We're going to multiply it or weight it by its probability, take the sum, and then take the square root. So understand we can translate this also into, if you will, calculator speak. So we are going to take the square root of, so the summation symbol is going to be the sum command. Now, understand then, I have to be careful to square my deviation. So I'm going to put an extra set of parentheses in where I can take my x values. Those are going to be stored in list 1. I want to subtract mu, or the mean. We will have calculated that and put that into the random variable m. So I'm going to take list 1 minus m, and I'm going to square those deviations. Then notice the probabilities are already in list 2, so I'm going to multiply what is in list 2. I'm going to multiply by that. This is what I want to take the sum of. So now I will close my summation symbol. Here we go. This expression then will represent the standard deviation, so we need to store this into a variable that we can display also. We'll store this into the variable s. So that's all we need to do to write the program, so let's get to it. So we need to name the program. So we'll press the program button. Press the right arrow to select new. I'll press enter. So the alpha lock is on, the cursor with the capital A flashing. So I'm going to name this RVMSD. RV for random variable. There's the R. There's the V. And then M for mean. And then SD for standard deviation. There is the S for standard deviation. And there is D. RVMSD. You can name it whatever you like as long as you remember what the program does. So press enter. The first thing that we're going to do is clear the home screen. So that way every time we run the program we'll get a nice clean home screen. So press the program button. We want to press the right arrow to go over to input and output. And you'll have to press your down arrow a few times. The command that we are looking for is down here. There it is. On my calculator it's option 8. So I'll press enter to bring it into the program. Press enter again. So now we're ready to put in our formula for the mean, calculating mu. And here it is. We've already done it. So literally this is the next line of the program. So if we go to our program, I need to bring in the sum command. That's second stat. Arrow over to math and down to sum. That's option 5. So all I need to do is take list 1 times list 2, second 1, times second 2. That's mu once I close my parentheses, and then I need to store it. The store button is over here on the left, right above the on-off button. I'm going to store this into the variable m. That's the alpha button, and then the division symbol. we're done. We've calculated and stored mu. Press enter. The next thing we need to do is calculate the standard deviation. Of course, we needed to calculate mu first. Here is the formula we're going to put in for the standard deviation, which uses mu, it uses m. So we had to do that part in the program first. So we need a square root. So notice there is, the next thing we need to do is put in the sum. So I'm going to press second stat over to math. Sum is option 5 for me. So I need to be really careful here. I'm going to put in another set of parentheses to represent my deviation. So parentheses, my x values are in list 1. Then I want to subtract mu, that's m. So again, that's alpha division sign, and I need to close these parentheses. These represent, if you will, the deviations. So I need to square these deviations. Here's the squaring button over here. That's what I would use. Now, I need to take those and multiply those or weight them by the probabilities in list 2. So I'll multiply by list 2. Now, we're nearly done. At this point, I need to close the parentheses on my sum, and then I also need to close the parentheses on the square root function. Now I need to store this. Here's the store button. I need to store this into a variable. I've named it s. So that's alpha button, and then looks like the natural log button. And there we go. So the only thing left to do then is to display these so that you can see them on the screen. So the display command is an input-output command. So we'll press the program button. Press the right arrow to select I/O. That represents input and output. Option number 3 is the display command. Press enter. So we're going to prompt the person running the program so that they know the first thing we're displaying is mu. We're actually going to name it mu. So to get that on the screen, you have to put it in quotes. So to get the quotes, you need to press the alpha button and then the plus sign. And now literally I'm going to type mu for mu inside of my quotes. So that's alpha division symbol and then alpha number 5. There's mu. Now I want to close my quotes. That's alpha plus sign. So literally on the screen, we'll see the letters mu. We'll see mu. And then I want to display the value of it. That value was stored into m. So I'm going to put a comma. And then afterwards, I'm going to put the variable m, alpha division symbol. That command will display mu on the screen. And then after it, it will actually give you the numeric value that the program calculated up here. Press enter. The last thing to do then is display the standard deviation. So it's very similar. Program, over to input and output. Display is option number 3. Again, I'm going to label it. I want the user to know that I'm displaying the standard deviation. So I'm going to label it as SD. So I need my quotes first. That's alpha plus sign. And then S is the natural log button. So I need to press alpha natural log button. And D is the x to the negative first button, alpha, and then that button. I need to close my quotes, alpha plus sign. I need a comma. And then I need to tell the calculator what variable to display. We've labeled it SD for standard deviation. The standard deviation is calculated here in the program, and it's stored into the variable S. So I need to put that variable here after my comma so that the calculator knows what to display. Alpha, natural log button. That's the program. Not too complicated, all done. Let's test it. It's automatically saved. So go to the home screen, press second mode. This will take us back to the home screen. Press the stat button and the enter key, and we'll just enter some made up data. Let's say that we have 3 values for my random variable. We'll call those values 1 and 2 and 3. So I'm going to enter them into list 1, and I'll press my right arrow. And let's say that the likelihood of the outcome 1, we'll call that one 0.7. Press enter. We'll say the likelihood of outcome number 2, we'll call that 0.2. Press enter. And then we'll say that the outcome 3 is the least likely. Of course, remember they have to add up to 1, so this has to be 0.1. So again, I've just made up this example just to test the program. So we have 3 values for the random variable 1, 2, and 3, and here are their associated probabilities. It is a probability distribution because those probabilities add up to 1. So they're in list 1 and list 2, just like the program requires. So let's go back to the home screen. Second mode, or second quit, takes us to the home screen. To run the program, press your program button. Notice EXEC for execute is already highlighted. So press the down arrow until you get to the name of the program you want to run. We named it RVMSD. That's what I named it, Random Variable Mean Standard Deviation. If you press enter, it takes the command program RVMSD to the home screen. And once you press enter one last time, it will actually run the program. And there you go. So the mean of the random variable is 1.4, and that makes sense because 1 is the most likely outcome. So our mean is pushed in the direction of 1. That makes sense. And the standard deviation you should get is about 0.66. Looks like the program is running properly. You're good to go.